So good evening everyone once again and welcome to this session on Power BI. I'm happy to have you here with me in the training and we started with a poll and I had asked some questions and I hope you will be able to see the polls also on the screen. So first question asked was, how have you used Power BI before? And 88% people said no, only 12% say yes. So there are three people who have used Power BI before. The second question was, what is your primary objective for learning Power BI? And there is a 60-40 ratio I can say over here. Many people say that to analyze and visualize data more effectively. Some people want to automate their work process and save time. And there could be an option for both also, both reasons. Third question was, how comfortable are you with data analysis concepts like KPI, dashboard? So 16% people say very comfortable, I'm using that regularly. And there are few people, or I can say more than 50% says that we are not very comfortable, somewhat comfortable, but need more clarity on it. Then the next question was, which type of data do you work with most often? And here the result is again 60-40 and 60% people, the audience over here, work with financial data and 40% working with operational data and other business data. And the last question is, do you think Power BI can replace a traditional Excel-based reporting? And what you all can see is that 72% people have answered as yes. And 20% people, I think they are all Excel lovers. They are saying no, Excel is still required for many multiple tasks. Okay. So with this, let us start with today's session. And let me share my screen. And I had not put one question, but now I would like to ask that question. How many of you have installed Power BI on your systems? So you just have to put a yes or no. Do you have Power BI already installed in your system? Because we are going to start with that only. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm sharing my screen now. And let me just know if you can see my screen. Okay, you can put a screen yes in the chat if you can see my screen, or maybe you can answer unmuting yourself. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Can you see this beautiful female over here on the screen with a good smile? Okay, but you don't have to look here. You have to look on the left hand side. Okay, and we have to get started with Power BI, right? So when there's a site where I have written Microsoft.com and on the Google, if you type Power BI, you will be redirected to this link. Okay, so it's very easy to install it. You can just say try for free. It is a free application. Basically, you don't have to create any account. You don't have to sign up. Okay, so without sign up also you can try this application. It might ask you to sign up, but before without doing that also we can easily download Power BI. And I think in the groups I've already shared the link to download Power BI. So once you have downloaded this application, you can use it for analysis of data, reporting, and a lot more. Okay, and I call it as storytelling. Okay, so there'll be an option to download Power BI. Once you have downloaded the Power BI, then what you will do is you will just click on your start menu, Windows icon, and you will say Power BI. When you type Power BI, you will see these three bars, the yellow bar, and you can click on it and it will open the Power BI application. Okay. Now, as many people are there which are new to this world of data analytics using Power BI. Okay. First, I will take you through the introduction. So today's session will be more of a introductory session, and definitely we are going to look at the practical aspect also. Okay. But those who are new here and those who may be not knowing me and meeting me for the first time, So here is my small introduction in front of you all. Okay, so I'm basically a chartered accountant and a company secretary, and I'm a global corporate trainer. Okay, so basically I'm a learning facilitator. I like to call myself, or a upskilling person, which who like to upskill people. I'm also a founder of Excel Vibes, through which you have come to this session. It's a learning ed tech platform. And apart from that, I'm also into investments and retirement planning. I've done my FPSB from US, and I'm also an empaneled faculty and paper evaluator with all the three esteemed institutes like CA, CS, and CMA, and also a career counselor. So more so ever, I'm a person who is into training, development, teaching, mentoring, helping people become better version of themselves. And apart from being a CA, I'm a techie. So I'm into that is why I have learned all these Power BI, Tableau, SQL, analytics, R language, and now also trying my hands on AI, because apart from BI, AI is getting a lot of importance nowadays. Okay. So I have had the opportunity to train at various premium institutes in India, like IIT, Christ University, and many other colleges, LPU, Lovely Professional, and also to corporates like Deloitte and many other. The list is long. Okay. So now let's come to the point. The point is that we want to know more on what is Power BI, how it is useful for us, and why we should learn Power BI. What will happen if we put our hands on Power BI, if we learn Power BI? How can we use it at work? And what difference will it make in the life of ours as before? Okay, so now I'm sharing my screen again, and on my screen you will see a presentation. Okay, so just confirm if you can see my screen again. Is my screen visible? Yes. Okay, great. So welcome to the world of Power BI. And now let me ask you a question. So quickly, a quick question to everyone. Uh, are you still using this phone? A quick yes and no in the chat box, please. Are you still using this phone? No, everyone is saying no. Okay. So have you ever used this phone, or have you ever seen this phone with your parents or maybe someone at home? Now, what is your answer? Have you ever used it before in the past? The answer is yes. So you're now turned to yes. So what happened that you stopped using this phone? So the question here is, are you still using this phone? And the answer is a big no. No one is saying that we are using this phone. But why not? The question is, why not are we using this phone? And new tech, okay. I have this phone, but not in use. Okay, so maybe you have put it as a antique in your home, outdated. Yes, so people are now giving me the reason why not they are using this phone, and because it is outdated, it's old, technical, it doesn't have new features. Okay, so what have you done? Which phone are you using now? Okay, so you have updated to a better phone with better features, touch screen phone, maybe an iPhone, right? Or maybe Android, Vivo, Oppo, and something like that, right? Okay, great. So we have updated. So this is all about technology, but are you updating your skills? Are you updating your knowledge of the applications you're using at work? Okay. So as we are updating our gadgets and we are making them smart, or we are using smart gadgets rather, are we also using smart applications? Half applying new skills. Okay, great. So this is the reason that you should update yourself, because if you're not updating yourself, you would soon be outdated, and we don't want to use outdated apps. People would not like to keep employees who are outdated or who are not having the latest ups knowledge. Now, the next question, and an interesting one this time. I hope you all had your dinner, but what do you see on the screen? A quick question with some quick answer. Expecting potato. Okay. Don't you see gold? Anyone seeing gold in this? Aloo. Okay, aloo. Aloo or potato. Correct. Now tell me, what is the characteristic of this potato? One basic characteristic of this potato. Tasty. But you have not tasted it, right? अभी जो दिख रहा है वो उसका कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स आई एम आस्किंग यू. जो आपको दिख रहा है, every time available, it is a vegetable. Okay. Something more? Carbs. Okay. Correct. Someone has said it is a raw vegetable. Okay. Now see, your answer depends on what you are focusing on. Someone says carb. He's focusing on, oh, that will make me unhealthy, weight बढ़ जाएगा. Dirty, it is not clean, it is not washed. So Nakshi is saying that. Uh, Amarnath has said raw vegetable, it is raw. Can be used in any meal, yes, a group of potatoes, Shilpi is saying. Correct. So all of your answers is correct. But one characteristics fits everywhere. Yes, Preeti saying fits everywhere. किसी के साथ भी आलू चल जाता है. और आलू पे तो एक गाना भी था, जब तक रहेगा समोसे में आलू तू मेरी रहेगी ना, ओ मेरी शालू, समथिंग लाइक दैट, ऑफ अक्षय कुमार एंड आई डोंट रिमेम्बर द फीमेल. सो ये आलू का एक जो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है वो है रॉ. इट इज अ रॉ पोटैटो. नाउ द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, कैन यू कंज्यूम व्हाट यू जस्ट सॉ? कैन यू कंज्यूम दिस आलू? Now everyone is saying no, because it is because why you cannot consume this aloo? Because it is raw. And Sujit is saying yes after processing. But I ask you, can you consume what you just saw? What you saw was not processed. What you are seeing right now is an unprocessed potato. We cannot consume it. It's a big no. But what about this and this and this and this and all of these? Can we consume this, all of these? Yes or no, everyone? Yes. Correct. Now, what makes the difference? What makes the difference between the previous picture I showed you of raw potato and this one? What makes the difference? Some processing. Correct. Absolutely. There is a process involved to convert the raw potato into a finished product, which is a meal. It can be a burger, it can be a mirchi bada, it can be a pav bhaji, or whatever you can cook from food. It is processed. Correct. Now, why I'm talking about potato in Power BI? In a Power BI session, why I'm talking about potato? Can anyone tell me? Because I told you it is a storytelling session. So I'm cooking stories near on potato and aloo and all. Why? Because I want you to connect to this now. Yes, we are raw. Yes, Chetan ji says that we are raw. I'll make you expert in Power. Yes, this definitely we are going to walk through that path. But now look at this data. What do you see on the screen? Do you see raw data in Excel sheet, and it is not presentable, right? What is the characteristics of this data? You can tell me. Some of the columns are not proper. It is not clean. Data is not visible properly. We cannot do any analysis. There is no information coming from this data. Yes? Am I right, everyone? Am I right? Unprocessed or raw. So the question is, can you process this data? So many information. Pooja says, "अरे इतने सारे number हैं." So much of information. Correct. Can you process this data? Tell me yes or no. and which application you are going to use to process this data. If you want to process this data, if you want to get some meaningful information from this data, what is the application that we generally use? अभी तक आप कौन सी एप्लीकेशन यूज करते आए हैं डेटा को समझने के लिए, डेटा का एनालिसिस करने के लिए, डेटा से कुछ मीनिंगफुल इंफॉर्मेशन निकालने के लिए? एंड रिया गुप्ता सेज एक्सेल. Rajesh ji says Excel pivot table. Sujit, Excel pivot. Chat GPT. Oh, Ranjit has come up with a advanced answer. Chat GPT. ये Excel Excel छोड़ो, Chat GPT से नाता जोड़ो. Okay, so you just put this data into Chat GPT and say analyze the data. And once you put the data into Chat GPT, what you can expect is something like this. Now, what do you see next? Is it nice? Is it clean? Is it looking good, attractive? And can you take some decisions based on this data? Yes or no? Yes? Does it look good to you? Okay. Now, what is this exactly? Helpful and presentable. Correct. What is this exactly? Can anyone tell me? Those who are working in Excel, can you tell me how this is created or what is this? It is a dashboard. Very good, Pratiksha. It is a dashboard. But how do we create a dashboard in Excel? I'm talking about Excel and we have not come to Power BI yet. But what I'm going to connect with you is that we can create a lot of charts and images in Excel. We can put them all together. But what are these? This region, which is showing four options: central, east, south, west, segment, category. What is this, that part called? This part called slicers. Very good. So someone is having a good knowledge of Excel over here. Slicer. ये सब slicer कहलाते हैं. And when you click on any slicer, it is just an image, it is not an Excel actually. So it will change the numbers. So it is a dynamic presentation of the data. What does it helps in? It helps in analyzing the numbers. You can see the current year sale and the previous year sale and what is the YOY growth. Then you can see the subcategory of the products and their profit for each category, and it is showing a profit and loss in the red and the green color. So it is presentable, right? Now, so with this begins our discussion on Power BI. Power BI actually helps you in converting your data from the regular tabular format, which is in the raw format, to a very nice visual format. Okay, so you will see that the data will come into charts, graphs, and all these things. Now that already we are doing in Excel, then why there is a need to learn a new application which is Power BI? So to unlock the data insights, to turn the data into business advantage, and the world of data is changing. You can see that every year the data is increasing at the 10x speed. 5 साल पहले जितना डेटा होता था उससे आज 10 गुना ज्यादा डेटा हम प्रोसेस करते हैं. There is a concept of big data now. There is a consumerization of IT. Every adult is using near about 3 to 4 devices, correct? And new data is coming from new data types. 85% of the data is coming from new data types. So it is said that by 2025, we are already into 2025, organizations that build a modern information management system will outperform their peers financially by 50%. So now the fight is not how to increase the sales or how to cut on the cost or how to increase the profit. The race is how to use the data that we have, how to get the best out of the data. And that is why you have to learn how to access the data, how to read the data, and how to take decisions. And that is where Power BI collaborated with Excel can do a lot of things. Okay, because Power BI is just a application, just a tool which you are going to use to visualize your data or to present the data in a visual format. But where the data will come from, tell me in the chat. Where the data will come from for the analysis? What all sources can we integrate the data and put it into Power BI. Can you give the names in the chat? डेटा कहाँ कहाँ से आ सकता है, और जो डेटा हम अलग अलग सोर्सेज से लेके आते हैं उसके साथ हम क्या क्या एनालिसिस कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो आई वुड बिलीव दैट यस, ऑपरेशन डिपार्टमेंट, राइट, and sales department, marketing department, finance department, a lot of departments are there and everyone is generating their own data set. Consumers themselves, yes, you can take the data from Facebook, LinkedIn, a lot of surveys, internet, data model, correct, research, feedback. And what we will do with this data is Google form, correct. What I did today, I created this webinar, posted it across social media, shared it in various groups, and that is how I am able to now collect 48 people who are interested in knowing about Power BI or learning Power BI. Correct? Now, that data can further be used to take various decisions. Then I took a survey. On the survey, I came to know that only 80%, 20% of the people who are here, they know Power BI, and rest 80% don't know. So this is how we can collect data and we can do analysis and a lot of things, right? So that is already done in Excel. But what are the limitations of Excel? Can anyone tell me one limitation of Excel that you face at your work or that you think is the biggest limitation of Excel? Someone in the chat, you can put it in the chat. What is the biggest limitation of using Excel? If more data is closed down, very good. हैंग हो जाता है, विजुअलाइजेशन अच्छे से नहीं कर सकते हम लोग एक्सेल में. And can anyone tell me how many rows data Excel supports? What is the number of rows of data that we have in Excel? कितने रो का डेटा होता है एक्सेल में? How many rows? Around 10 lakh. Yes. We face problems in running macros in Excel. Yes, definitely. Formula to remember, कितने सारे formula कैसे याद रखें? Correct. A lot of challenges when you use Excel, but all those challenges can be overcome by Power BI. And that is why there is a need to shift or to learn an additional tool, which is Power BI, so that you can outperform. Yes, Copilot can do that, ChatGPT can do that, but still, we have to have that approach. More than the formula, the approach is important. Do you all agree with me or not? फॉर्मूला याद होने से ज़्यादा ज़रूरी क्या है कि हमारी अप्रोच सही होनी चाहिए. Do you all agree with me? Yes or no? We should have a right approach towards solving a problem or to getting to a solution or to getting to a result that we want, right? We have to develop the logic. Exactly, exactly. Chaliye, let's proceed further. So what you can do in Power BI, that I will open Power BI and show it to you. Let us quickly complete this presentation so that we can look at the practical aspect of it. So now I have a very different approach of taking a session. How many of you are coming or listening to me for the first time? Those who are coming for the first time, type FT, first time. Yeah, don't type me or just type FT, first time. And those who already know me, you can say MT many times. Those who have listened to me on YouTube or attended my previous session, you can say many times MT. So FT or MT. Yeah. So now there are mixed responses over here, and I can see there are first timers, many first timers also, and most of the audience which are there, they are all from one group. Some bigger groups have come and joined this training. One is our business partner also, which is FinCard, and there is one CA who has bought in 4-5 team. So thank you all for opting for learning Power BI with me. because there are a lot of options available. But you will eventually realize what that your choice is right and you're at the right platform, right place with the right person when we go more deeper into it. Okay, so those who have seen my way of teaching or training and giving sessions, they already know that I don't keep it very much boring or technical. I have a balanced approach in teaching, wherein I crack some jokes also. Sometimes I may say some dialogue also. Sometimes I can sing also in the class. So all these things I do to keep the sessions interesting, because it is a online session. It is a virtual session wherein we don't get to see each other and we don't get to talk to each other. But yes, still we can make it very, very interesting session. Okay. So now let me ask you one thing quickly, and you all have to answer. Have you seen a movie where are three uh, actors? I'll just say the name of the actors and the actress, and you have to just tell me the name of the movie. So we will just play a game, a quiz, a small quiz over here, and then we'll move to Power BI. So the movie has three act actor and actress. One actress, which is Shilpa Shetty. There are two actors. One is Sunil Shetty, and the other one is Akshay Kumar. So this trio, do you remember the movie from this? And yes, now people have started giving me the right answer, and it is Dhadkan. Wow, correct. Maybe the Gen Z might not have seen this movie, but all those who belong to my generation, उस समय की ये बहुत अच्छी मूवी थी और इसके गाने काफी हिट हुए थे. इवन वन डायलॉग ऑल्सो बिकेम वेरी पॉपुलर. Okay, and do you remember the name of Sunil Shetty in the movie? Do you all remember the name of Sunil Shetty in the movie? Dev. Prashant says Dev. Ranjit says Dev. Okay. What was the name of Shilpa Shetty in the movie? Anjali. Anjali. And what was Akshay Kumar? Who was Akshay Kumar? Ram. Correct. Now, what all this Dhadkan and this Dev has to do with Power BI? You don't understand why you're talking about all this. Because, see, Dev once visited Anjali when she was dating Ram, because Ram was a powerful person, a rich person, and Dev was not. So Anjali says कि just forget me, Dev, भूल जाओ मुझे. And Dev comes with a dialogue. And do you remember the dialogue? अंजलि, मैं तुम्हें भूल जाऊं ये हो नहीं सकता, और तुम मुझे भुला दो ये मैं होने नहीं दूंगा. Okay, so this is how the Dev says that. Okay, and Anjali replies, मत आओ इतने करीब मेरे देव, मैं तुम्हें बर्बाद कर दूंगी. And Dev says, मैं बर्बाद होना चाहता हूँ. And this is how it goes. This is how it goes, right? So they went to US, and then when he returned back, he became Dave, Dave, which you can see on the screen. So the Dave went to US, goes to US, and the Dave that comes back from US is now Dave, Dave. Okay, so the Dave has become Dave. Now, so what is Dave here now? Dave is a process which is used for data visualization. Okay, so whenever you are working with any data set and you want to visualize this data, you want to interpret this data, you have to follow this process of Dave. So what is Dave? D stands for discover, A stands for analyze, V stands for visualize, and E stands for explore. सो फर्स्ट यू डिस्कवर व्हाट्स देयर इन द डेटा. डेटा में क्या क्या कॉलम है, क्या क्या रोज हैं, क्या क्या फील्ड्स हैं, डेटा कैसा है, पहले हम उसको डिस्कवर करेंगे. जब हम जान जाएंगे कि हाँ सेल्स है, प्रॉफिट है, 4 साल की सेल्स दे रखी है, अलग अलग रीजन्स की सेल दे रखी है, देयर आर डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स विच आर गिवन, then you try to do what? Then you try to analyze this data. Okay. And once you analyze, you do visualization. You convert that data analysis into visual charts. And once you present the chart to the management, what they do, they explore the reasons of decline in sales, decline in profit, or the segments which is going good, which is not doing good, and all these things, right? So Dave helps us a lot in visualization. So will you now remember the Dave, everyone? देव जो यूएस जाके डेव बन गया, डू यू विल यू ऑल रिमेंबर दैट डेव और नॉट? टेल मी यस और नो इन द चैट. ठीक है, करेक्ट. So we have to remember, and there is going to be a test. Every day there is going to be a test. So you have to be focused. Okay. Now, if I ask you, you have two sheets in Excel and you want to create a pivot table. Many people said pivot table. Can you create a pivot table using two different sheets or two different files, data from four files, and create one pivot table? Yes or no? In the chat, please. Mitesh says no, Ranjit says no, Sujit says no. सभी ना बोल रहे हैं, कोई तो हाँ बोल दो. No, everyone is saying no. Pooja is also saying no. What about others? There are 44 people in the chat, in the audience. Baki log. Yes, Amit Sinha has come up with the right answer, which is yes, using power pivot. So power word लगते ही देखिए पूरे जज्बात बदल गए हैं. Pivot table can only create a pivot table for one sheet, but yes, using power pivot we can create a data model, and through that data model we can connect multiple files. अच्छा, ऐसा भी होता है? हाँ जी, ऐसा भी होता है. और ऐसा बहुत कुछ होता है जो कि हम अभी देखने वाले हैं. ठीक है, तो लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. सो दिस इज वन मोर रीजन व्हाई यू शुड गो टू Power BI. And Power Pivot is there in Excel, but Power Pivot has its own challenges that I will show you later. Then there are some charts which are not available. Can you create a map of India and some bars coming up and different colors in Excel? Yes or no? क्या हम Excel में कुछ ऐसा देखा है आपने? No. But this is very much possible in Power BI. This is very much possible in Power BI. So are you all now ready to dive in the world of Power BI? Are you all ready? Can you type the word ready in the chat box? Yes, ready. Are you all excited also? Okay. So let's deep dive into Power BI. So now I am opening my Power BI screen and I'm sharing my screen again. And let's start learning or exploring what is Power BI. And now you have to just be attentive in for the next 15 minutes. Okay, don't do anything. Okay, just focus on what is being happening on the screen. 15 मिनट आप मुझे दे दीजिए. ठीक है. So it is 9:40, 9:55 तक I'll speak. After that I'll give you 5-10 minutes to ask questions and all these things. Okay, we might extend today's session by 5-10 minutes. Okay, if you all agree 10-10 तक खत्म कर देंगे हम लोग इसको. ठीक है, but you are going to enjoy it. Okay, so now I am going to share my screen and just give me a hands up, a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Can you see the Power BI on the screen? Okay, can you see a Power BI on the screen? Yes. So this is how a Power BI looks like when you open the Power BI for the first time. This is called as a welcome screen, you can say, or the interface of Power BI. Now, therein you see home, you have open, you have this toolbar, this title bar where it is saying untitled because, and there is a search button over here, right? There is an option of sign in. You can sign in into Power BI, but we need not do it right now. And what else do you see is select a data source or start with a blank report. So as I already mentioned to you that yeah, so I have a paid version, but we don't require paid version. Paid version is needed only when you want to share the file which is dynamic in nature and which you want the recipient to use as a dynamic file. then you need to go for the paid version, and it is subscription based model. You can take a monthly subscription or you can take a yearly subscription, something like that. That I will discuss in the coming days. Okay, but let us understand how to use Power BI and what we need to do actually when we enter into Power BI territory. Okay, so there are different options like blank report, one lake data hub, Excel, SQL, and learn with sample data. Okay, so what should we do? Now, everyone, to start with Power BI, we have to have a common database, right? So today, what I've decided is first we will start with the sample data, which is already inbuilt data in the Power BI. And tomorrow onwards, I am going to share you different exercises, different data sets in our WhatsApp group. Those who have already registered, they will get the data and all these things in the group itself. And we will create a drive, and I'll share the drive link also, where all the access to all the study material, resources, recordings will be there. Correct? So let us click on learn with sample data. And you also can do it simultaneously with me, or I would rather recommend you to not do it with me. Just see what is happening. Maybe if you have a pen and paper, you can scribble and you can note down the steps over there. But no need to rush, no need to be doing it with me. You will get the recording afterwards. You can watch this. Those who have not registered yet and still deciding whether to go for it or not, you can see the recording on YouTube. Now, there are two things over here in the sample data. One is financial, one is sheet one. So can you tell me what is the difference between these two? क्या ये सेम है या अलग अलग है या इनमें क्या फर्क है? Or as I clicked on financials, you can see on the right hand side the data is coming. This is the data that we are going to work with. Now, if I uncheck this financial and I click on sheet one, you see the same data. Okay, now can anyone tell me why there were two options? Why there were two options? दो options क्यों थे और हम इससे क्या करेंगे? डेटा तो दोनों में सेम ही आ रहा है. Financial means tabular format. So, sir, in the sheet one also, it is also tabular format. Anyone who would like to unmute and answer this? Try this. I would love to hear you. Anyone? See, if both are in table format. We have a column, segment, country, product, discount band, and all this thing, and there are rows and structured and unstructured data. So I would say in both the cases, the data is structured. The data is into a structure, it is into a tabular form, but still there is a difference. What is that difference? Are you able to make it or you're not able to make it? Okay, so let me help you with the answer. See, the first one is actually, yeah, worksheet or workbook. ओके सचिन, यू आर नियर टू इट. थोड़ा आप नजदीक पहुंच गए लेकिन बिल्कुल बुल्स आई पे हिट नहीं कर पाए. ओके, सो शीट वन is actually a sheet. It's actually a worksheet. In Excel we have many multiple worksheets and combination of sheet is called as a workbook. ठीक है, तो ये एक शीट है लेकिन हर एक शीट के अंदर, नो, फाइनेंशियल इज नॉट द नेम ऑफ द शीट. सरोज, इट इज द नेम ऑफ अ टेबल इनसाइड द शीट. ठीक है, तो यस, हिमांशी गॉट इट राइट. वेरी गुड हिमांशी. एंड इट इज शीट वर्सेस टेबल. वेरी गुड. सो although in the sheet we have only one table, that is why the data is coming to same. But if we have a file where there are multiple tables or multiple sheets, we will see a list of different sheets and tables. Very good. So now at the bottom, if you see, there are three options. One is load, transform, and cancel. So what do I do? Should I load it? Should I click on transform or should I click on cancel? क्या हमें करना चाहिए और तीनों में डिफरेंस क्या है? Load. Riya says load. Anyone who wants to go with transform data? The second option. Okay, Sujit says transform data. Okay, first we have to load. Okay, transform then load. Okay, transform it first then load. Okay, अभी कोई कोई बोलेगा कि छोड़ो ना, लोड ट्रांसफॉर्म कैंसिल करते हैं। है ना, लीव एवरीथिंग, जस्ट क्लिक ऑन कैंसिल। ओके, transform to table. Okay, now let me tell you the difference when to use load and when to use transform. What is the meaning of the word transform? Transform means to change, to modify, to edit. अगर आपको डेटा में कुछ भी चेंजेस करने हैं, डेटा चेक करना है, डेटा कंप्लीट है या नहीं है, कुछ कॉलम ऐड करने हैं, कुछ डिलीट करना है, तो क्या करना होगा? हमको ट्रांसफॉर्म करना होगा। और जब हमें लगता है कि सब कुछ ठीक है या ठीक ही होगा, तो लोड करेंगे। ठीक है, बट shall we take an assumption that everything is right and load the data, or shall we check what is the better approach? As I told you that we have to learn the right approaches. So what is the right approach? Check. Kamal says check. So let's go with the right approach of checking the data first and then loading it. So we'll click on transform data. We should always check the data for any errors or anything. So you have to first click on transform data and then we will load the data. Okay. So we will click on transform. So as you click on transform, basically it will open a different window. I think by mistake I clicked on load, but when you click on transform, yeah, so this window will open, which is a Power Query Editor. Now, how many of you know about Power Query Editor? कितने लोगों को पता है कि पावर क्वेरी एडिटर क्या होता है, या आपने कभी सुना है इसके बारे में सुना है? Power Query Editor. Have you heard about this term before? Have used? Amitish says have used. Okay. Priya Gupta says yes. What about others? आप चुप क्यों हैं? आपकी खामोशी को मैं क्या समझू? Yes or no? So I'm assuming that those who are चुप, जो खाली खाली चुप चुप बैठे हैं, उनका मतलब नो है ना? I'm confused about the difference in Power Query and Power BI. ये कौन है confusion? Okay, Mitesh. I will answer all your queries, and I wanted this confusion to be there because we have to reach from confusion to solution. Okay, that is the tagline which I have on my YouTube. If you go to my channel, I have a channel on YouTube which is Alok Sethi. There are 300 video, and this is going to be the 301 video in the channel. Okay, so we will reach from confusion to clarity, confusion to solution. एंड नाउ लेट मी एक्सप्लेन यू व्हाट इज पावर क्वेरी एंड पावर बीआई। देखिए, ये विंडो अभी जो आपको दिख रहा है, दैट इज अ पावर बीआई विंडो एप्लीकेशन। इनसाइड दैट एप्लीकेशन you have called a transform data, and the data we have already loaded over here. Okay, the data is already there, which is financials, and you can see all the columns over here, right? But let me take you to power query first. So what is the meaning of the word query? Anyone, what is the meaning of the word query? क्वेरी का मतलब क्या होता है? Any queries? You must have heard this. Teachers always says any query or table. Okay. Input question. Very good. It is question. It is a ask. What do you want to ask? It is all about question or doubt, right? So any queries or any questions did you have, right? So what we do is when we or someone who said table, maybe you know SQL. Anyone who knows SQL over here? SQL, structured query language. किसी को आता है? किसी को पता है? Ria says yes. Okay, very good, Ria. तो एसक्यूएल में the query word is there and table word is there, and what you do is when you learn SQL, there is a huge database, more than billions of rows and all, and then you do a query कि select this or find this or whatever database. Yes, तो क्वेरी क्या होता है? क्वेरी में हम डेटा के ऊपर कुछ काम करते हैं, मैनिपुलेट करते हैं, उसको मॉडिफाई करते हैं। तो दिस इज व्हाट पावर क्वेरी डज। नाउ पावर क्वेरी के ऊपर 10 आवर्स का सेशन विल बी गोइंग टू बी देयर इन दिस कोर्स, but I'll just give you a quick idea of what can Power BI do, Power Query do, and we will create one small visual today. Okay, आज का टारगेट इतना सही है बस, क्योंकि 9:51 हो गए, 10 मिनट 15 मिनट में खत्म करेंगे सेशन। बट आपको मैं झलक दिखला दूंगा कि ये पावर क्वेरी क्या करता है और पावर बीआई क्या करता है। सो यू विल हैव द क्लैरिटी विथ यू व्हेन यू गो एंड लीव दिस सेशन। जब आप इस सेशन को खत्म करेंगे तो आपको ये क्लैरिटी होगी कि पावर बीआई क्या है और पावर क्वेरी क्या है। नाउ व्हाट डज पावर क्वेरी लुक्स लाइक? किसके जैसा दिख रहा है आपको ये? थोड़ा थोड़ा बताइए। व्हाट डज इट लुक लाइक टू यू? कैसा है ये पावर क्वेरी? एनीवन इन द चैट? व्हाट डज इट लुक लाइक? एक्सेल, बिल्कुल। बिकॉज दे आर ऑल फैमिली ऑफ माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, ये सब माइक्रोसॉफ्ट के ही प्रोडक्ट हैं, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट की संतानें हैं। तो एक्सेल जैसा दिख रहा है, बिल्कुल। बट एक्सेल से बहुत ज्यादा पावरफुल है। इट इज मोर मच मोर पावरफुल देन एक्सेल, करेक्ट? सो नाउ वी कैन सी गवर्नमेंट कैनेडा एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स एंड दे आर ऑल कॉलम्स, ठीक है, और देर आर सम रोज, ठीक है। नाउ हाउ मेनी रोज एंड कॉलम्स डेटा इट इज? कैन एनीवन टेल मी कि कितने रो और कितने कॉलम का डेटा है जिस पे हम काम कर रहे हैं? And if you keep your eyeball on the left hand side, down bottom, you will be able to give me the answer. At the bottom, it is written 16 columns and 700 rows. Okay, 700 rows. What is the source of this data? If you click on this source, it will tell you that the data is coming from this file. C program and all. This is the location, and the file name is financial sample. If I copy this and if I go to my run command and I paste this location, I will be able to open the sample file. Okay, so
Screen it not visible, sir.
screen is not visible. Just a minute. Okay, so sorry. Now is it visible? Can you see my entire screen now? Yes. So can you see the source? The source says that the sample data is coming from this sheet, which is C drive program files, and it is a inbuilt file which is there when we download Power BI. तो ये फाइल भी साथ में डाउनलोड हो जाता है, ठीक है। Now what I'm doing is I'm selecting this address, file address from here, Control C करूंगा, copy करूंगा, and I'm pressing Windows R. Windows R is a command prompt. Okay, I hope you can see the command, the prompt also. Okay, the window also, run window, and you can click on OK. You copy paste and click on OK. Now, as I click on OK, what do you see opening? क्या खुल गया बताइए? What has opened? Can you see the Excel window now? Everyone, can you see Excel? Yes. And this is the source data. Yes, this is the source data. This is the data that we are going to work with, correct? It has 700 columns, 700 rows, sorry, and 16 columns, A to P, 16 columns. So this is the data. Okay, I'm just going to close it. And now coming back to Power Query. So we have that source, we have navigation, then we have change type. Now, if you see, this is a formula bar where you have not written any formula, but you are going to see all these things over here. Now, do you see any space to type anything in Power Query in the data set? Can we add any row or can we make any changes? Suppose I want to make it April to May. I cannot do any changes here, right? But on the top, you will see multiple tabs like transform, add column, view, tools, and all. And there is a home tab also, correct? So we can modify the data in the Power Query. Now, how can we modify this data? So suppose I want to add a column. Now, if you see this data, okay, there is some issue and I'm not able to see the headings. Now, let me close this window and let me reopen it again. So when I want to reopen Power Query, I can go to Home tab and I can click on Transform Data. So it will open the Power Query editor and now I can easily see it. Okay, now those who are looking at the Power Query for the first time, ध्यान से आप देखिएगा इसको. So we have four columns which has ABC, 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 ABC. Now what is this ABC? ABC का क्या मतलब है? What is the meaning of this ABC over here in the data set? And then you have 1.2, 123, 123, 123, 1.2. Then we have a calendar icon and this. So what is the ABC indicating over here? Format of column, Himanshi, very good. Recognize as text. Yes, Amitesh. So yes, it is a text. So it is a text format. This is also a text format. All the four columns are textual format. Now, when you talk about units sold, suppose let's say this company is dealing into garments. Can we have the units sold in decimals? Yes or no? Nope. ठीक है, वो फटी हुई जीन्स होगी तो हाँ थोड़ा बहुत हम बोल सकते हैं कि पूरा कपड़ा नहीं है, थोड़ा सा निकाल दिया तो डेसिमल में आ गया, बट ऐसा नहीं है. सो व्हाट वी वांट टू डू नाउ इज वी वांट टू कन्वर्ट द डेसिमल इनटू होल नंबर. ओके. नाउ एक्सेल में क्या करते हैं हम, एक्सेल में वो डेसिमल का बटन होता है, उस पर क्लिक करते हैं. व्हाट वी विल डू इज वी क्लिक ऑन 1.2 ओवर ईयर एंड देयर इज ऑप्शन ऑफ होल नंबर. वी विल जस्ट क्लिक ऑन होल नंबर. So as you click on whole number, you will see the numbers have converted into whole number. पहले decimal था, अब whole number हो गया. Is it clear to everyone what I have done? अच्छा, एक और रूल है क्लास का, सिंस वी आर ऑन द फर्स्ट डे. इफ इट इज क्लियर यू विल से टाइप सी. इफ यू वांट मी टू रिपीट यू विल टाइप आर. ठीक है. तो इसने क्या करा, राउंड अप करा, राउंड अप. इट इज राउंडिंग अप. ओके. नाउ अगेन लेट मी शो यू. इफ इट इज क्लियर यू विल टाइप सी. इफ यू वांट मी टू रिपीट यू विल टाइप आर. So it is 111618.5. It is 2665.5. Okay. Now when I convert this into whole number, okay, it's just removing the decimal. It is not rounding it off to up and down. So वो 0.5 निकल गया. ठीक है. What is the use? The use is you want to convert the decimal into whole number. तो हमें होल नंबर यूज इसको रिप्लेस करना है. ठीक है. सिमिलरली द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्राइस यू वांट टू मेक इट होल नंबर्स. द सेल प्राइस आल्सो यू वांट टू मेक इट होल नंबर. ग्रॉस सेल्स, ये देखिए डेसिमल में आ रहा है. आई वांट टू कन्वर्ट दिस इनटू होल नंबर. सो आई विल just click on this and make it whole number. Okay, it is rounding up. Okay, fine. So let us see this 333,187.5. If I click on this whole number, yeah, it is rounding up. Correct. Area, you're right. It is rounding up, and nice observation. So it is rounding up the numbers, and see, I'm doing it for each column. You can select all the columns together, and this date column actually is should be a date format. So we'll convert this into a date. If you select date and time both, if the data has date and time both, it will show both. Correct. So we don't want to do it now. Month number is a number. So first thing that you need to check in the data set is that they should be rightly addressed. So if it is a textual column, it should be called as text. If it is a numeric column, it should be called as a number. Okay. Now, suppose we want to analyze this data. We have sales, we have profit. Now, I guess there are many chartered accountants over here, right? And there are MBA students also, and there are finance team also. So tell me, what column can we add to analyze this data better? You have sales, COGS, profit. There is one column which is missing from here, but one information which is missing, which is very useful, but not there.
Gross
So what
profit.
is that information?
Gross profit, net profit.
ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट और नेट प्रॉफिट. वेरी गुड. ठीक है. तो प्रॉफिट है अमाउंट में, सेल्स है अमाउंट में, लेकिन प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज में नहीं है. वी डोंट हैव द रेशियो. करेक्ट. तो हम प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज निकाल सकते हैं. करेक्ट. एवरीवन, यू आर राइट. नाउ लेट मी शोकेस यू हाउ वी डू दैट. अगर ये काम हमें एक्सेल में करना होता तो हम क्या करते, लास्ट वाले कॉलम में जाते, इक्वल्स टू लिखते, प्रॉफिट का पहला सेल सेलेक्ट करते, डिवाइड लगाते, सेल्स का दूसरा सेल सेलेक्ट करते, एंटर करते, नंबर आ जाता, उसको ड्रैग करते, सब में आ जाता. एम आई राइट? एक्सेल में ऐसा ही होता. एम आई राइट? यस. यस. नाउ व्हाट हाउ डू वी डू इन पावर क्वेरी? पावर क्वेरी में कैसे करेंगे? वी विल सेलेक्ट द प्रॉफिट कॉलम. वी विल we will keep the control key pressed. We will select the sales column also, and simply what we want to do, we want to add a column. We will click on add column. In the add column there is the option of form standard, and which is showing some calculations here. You click on this, and what you want to do, we want to divide. So we'll click on divide. So do you see a new column with the name division on the screen? In the end of the table, at the end of the table, do you see a new column created? Repeat. Okay. Ethel says repeat. Okay. ठीक है. Clear. Okay. So let me repeat it one more time. Okay. एक बार और पुनः करेंगे. So we will select profit I'll keep the control key pressed. I'll select sales. I'll go to add column. In the add column, I'll go to standard and I'll say divide. I get this column, but it is not coming into percentage. What should I do? It is not coming into percentage. What should I do? I'll click on 1.2 and there is a fourth option which is percentage. Drop down पे जाने का और percentage में convert कर देने का. Okay, so now all the numbers are coming into percentage, but I don't want to call it division. I'll double click on this and I'll say GP ratio. Is it clear to everyone? यहां तक कहानी clear है क्या? Very good, very good. Now, one last column we will add, one last thing we'll do in Power Query, and then I will import this data into Power BI. Okay. And then I'll take your permission to extend the session for 10 minutes. And if you all say yes, then I'll show you one graph. Okay. Otherwise, we will do tomorrow. Okay. So everyone is saying yes, I guess. Okay. चलिए एक और column add करते हैं. We'll go to add column. And this time what I'm going to do is, so if you look at the GP ratio, selection priority should be logical. Yes, it should be logical. Yeah. If you select sales first and then profit afterwards, तो उल्टा ratio निकल के आएगा. Okay. How did it automatically take 1 and 2 for division? It did not do anything automatically, Vishaka. What we did is we selected the profit. I selected the profit first and then the sales. अगर आप उल्टा, let's do उल्टा also. Let's do sales divide by profit. Okay, so I first selected sales and now I'm selecting profit. Now I'm again going to this standard and divide. Now see what has come. Can you see now? To 24.9. So it is the reverse. It is how many times of profit is the sales. Are you seeing this? Are you getting this? Reciprocal. हाँ उल्टा हो गया है. उल्टा हो गया है. Correct. We don't want this. So how do I remove this column? So I'll just, there is all the steps what you do in Power Query. It get listed over here. I'll just click on delete this. So this column has gone. I just clicked on this. वो column चला गया. Now let's do one more thing before we load this data into Power BI, and that is एक और गड़बड़ हो गया क्या? Okay, so these columns, I will select all these columns and see these are textual columns. It should be called as text. तो इनको सबको select करके keep the control key pressed, and you will select the heading over here and make it text. तो ये आप text में convert कर देंगे. Okay. So all this is done. Now quickly we will do one more thing before we load this data. What I'm going to do now is look at this very carefully. When I come to the profit column, you will see some negative values. You will see some negative values and you will see some positive values. Okay. So can anyone tell me what is the negative value telling us? Yes, it will create an error if we don't convert it into text. It will create an error. It will not reflect it correctly when we do Power BI, when we do the visualization. So always. So the negative value is telling that there is a loss. And the positive value is telling us that there is a profit. So I want to create a column which will categorize all my row items into profit and loss so that I can find out how many transactions are profit transactions, how many transactions are loss transactions. Understood? समझा सबको? हम एक नया कॉलम ऐड करना चाहते हैं जिसमें हम प्रॉफिट को क्लासिफाई करेंगे इनटू प्रॉफिटेबल एंड लॉस मेकिंग. इज इट क्लियर? Okay, चलो let's do it quickly. So we'll add a column and this time I'm going to select a conditional column because I'm going to put a condition. और अगर एक्सेल में ये करना होता तो हमको कौन से फॉर्मूले की मदद लेनी पड़ती? कंडीशन की बात आए तो किसका नाम याद आता है? इफ. अगर. इफ. ओके. So here we don't have to write any formula. That is the best thing about Power BI. Okay. बिग बेसिक्स. हाँ, बेसिक में आपको कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं लिखना पड़ेगा बट वी विल टीच यू डैक्स फंक्शंस ऑल्सो. हम लोग वो भी कवर करेंगे बट अभी फिलहाल के लिए यू डोंट हैव टू राइट एनी फॉर्मूला. सो विल सिलेक्ट प्रॉफिट. वी हैव टू गिव अ लॉजिक. सो इफ द प्रॉफिट is greater than what? 0. Then what should we call it as? We will call it as a profit. Okay, so we can say profitable transaction. Profitable transaction. Okay, else we will call it as a loss transaction. Okay, but you may say, sir, it is possible that we have the profit and loss is equal to zero. Is it possible or not? Can we have profit loss is equal to zero also? So what is that called? If we have a condition where the profit and loss is zero, what is that called? What is that called? That is called as break even. Very good. So we'll add a clause, and in the clause we'll say else if we will select profit again equals to zero, and we will call it as break even transaction. Okay, so profit transaction, break even transaction or loss transaction, and now we'll click on OK, and we have this column and we will convert into text. Now, does it look easy or not? Tell me. So far, अभी तक सब कुछ अच्छा लग रहा है, easy लग रहा है, समझ में आ रहा है, मजा आ रहा है? Tell me. I need your feedback now. Okay. So we have break-even transaction, we have loss transaction, we have profit transaction, and you can check. ठीक है, GP रेशियो में हम यहाँ पे फिल्टर लगा के लेट्स से लेस देन जीरो कर दें, लेस देन जीरो, and okay. So you will see all the loss transaction. If I select number filter में only zero, so I will see the break-even transaction and vice versa. Okay. So like that. Okay, we have the break-even transactions as well in this. तो आपको वो भी मिल जाएगा. Okay. So now we have done this. Now, once we have done this, now what we want to do is we want to analyze this. We want to analyze this. Okay, so we want to analyze this. And in the analysis, what I want to do is I want to create some charts and all. So what I'll do is I will load this data now. So how to load? You'll go to home, close and apply. Click on close and apply. Now we have clicked on close and apply, and it is done. Yeah, we can group it in the range of 10%. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Okay. So, Kamal, you want me to repeat? What do you want me to repeat, Kamal? Can you just unmute yourself and ask?
That's the condition that you put, no?
Okay, okay. So, yeah. So now, everyone, if you want to go back to Power Query, what we'll do? We'll go to transform data again. So it will open the Power Query again. And I want to see this step. So I'll click on uh, this condition. Okay, so I have added a conditional column, so I'll click on double click on this, so it will open the condition that I put. Okay, and can you see this window now, Kamal?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, so we added a profit status, and if the profit is zero, greater than zero, then profitable transaction. If it is equal to zero, then break even, less than zero, loss transaction, and we will click on OK. Okay, so this is what we did. And then I sorted some good, I filtered. So these are the steps which don't require all this. Now we can load it. So we'll say home, close and apply. Now everyone, once we load the data into Power BI, okay. So this is how the Power BI window looks like. Okay. Now where is the data? On the right hand side, on the right hand side. On the left hand side, you have canvas area. So you have the area where you will build the visuals. This is where the dashboard will be built. Okay, this is the various tools which will be are going to use to build the dashboard. These are also the charts and all, right? And this is our data. So in the data, you will be able to see all the columns. Can you see all the columns names over here? Correct? But we want to see the data into tabular format. So here there are four icons. One is the report view where you are going to see the report. The other one is the table view. The third one is the model view, and the fourth one is DAX. Now let us click on table view. Now do you see the entire data? Along with the columns that we added two columns. One is GP ratio, one is profit status. Now the GP ratio we converted into percentage, but is not coming to percentage. So what I will do is I'll click on this and I will click on percentage. Now, is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Okay. So we can see the loss transactions, the profit transaction, all this data is loaded. Okay. Now, this is the model view. So we have only one file here in the data set. So that is why it is showing only one table. If there were multiple sheets, it would have created a relationship. We are going to look into it at a later stage. Now, let me quickly create one basic chart and show you. Okay. Now, we have not seen the data, sir. So let us talk about the data first. So data has segment, it has countries, it has product, it has discount band. These four columns are called as dimensions. These four columns are called as dimension. Why didn't it load into percentage? So basically what happens, Ria, is when we apply any changes in Power Query and it brings it to Power BI, sometimes the formatting gets disturbed. So we need to just adjust the formatting. Okay, so you click on percentage, it will automatically convert into percentage. That is why this has come. So we can do that changes. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we want to create a visual. Now, to create a visual, we need to understand that we should have some charts and graphs. So suppose the data has countries and I want to see the total sales for different countries. Okay, I want to compare the sales for different countries. Now, what I need to do is I need to select a chart. So there are different charts. These are called as visuals. There are 42 plus visuals over here. So in this row, you can see six visuals are there, and there are 7 rows. So 42 plus 1, 43 plus 3 dots. So it will have more visuals also. Let us quickly take one. The one which I'm going to take is the fourth one, which is the cluster column. I'll just click on this. And do you see a blank chart over here? Okay. Now in this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on sales and I'm going to click on country. Now, how many bars do you see? Do you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns? Okay. Do you see 6 columns over here, which are in one color, but we can change the colors as well. Okay. And you will be able to see the names also. Let me put the data label. Let me just increase the size of the units so you are able to see it properly. Okay. Now, don't try to learn everything in first session itself. I'm just going to show you how does Power BI work. Okay, but before we do that, can you see the sales in millions? 3.61 is USA, 2.19 is Germany, 2.07 is France, 1.97 is Canada, and 1.80 is Mexico. Okay, now suppose you say, no, sir, we don't want to see in this. We want to see in a pie chart. Let me just click on pie chart now. Now, do you see a pie chart with different colors and the sales with the percentage as well? Okay. And suppose you want to see the names of the country along with the numbers, we can do that also. So to do that, what I will do is I will just do some formatting. So there are some buttons on the right hand side, which allows you to do the formatting, and based on the format, it will present the visual. So if you want to increase the font size, you can increase over here. You can make it bold, this country and all. Now, when you click on any country, that particular part will be highlighted. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn in the coming days. And I hope you're already now getting into the mode of understanding what does Power BI do. Okay, now do you see the country names as well and the percentage sales, correct? How does it look to you? Does it look good, everyone? Look good? Okay. Now, not only this, suppose I want to analyze the country, the sales in the country basis the segments. Okay, basis the segments. So I will just introduce one slicer. I'm not going to teach you how I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just showing you what it is all about. Okay. So if you select the segment has various, there are various segments over here. Okay, it is showing only one. Let us do one thing. Let us select the product. So there are different products. Okay. So now let me just in the slicer, let me put the product. So I want to see the sales by product for these countries. Okay. So now you can see the list of products over here. Okay. And let me increase the size a little bit so that you can see them properly. So this is the list of the products. Okay. Now when I click on Velo, do you see the pie chart changing? When I'm clicking on the product name, do you see this pie chart changing? Yes or no? Correct? So this is what Power BI is all about. So far, did we use any formula? So I'm just saving this file and I'll call it as Power BI session 1. Today is 8th Jan 25. Okay, and we will save it. Once you save your file, it will show the name over here and the date and the time saved. Okay, it is already 10:18. Oh my God. Okay, I took your time. Now I'm going to stop share. Okay, and now I'm open for any Q&A that you have. And before we go into Q&A, there is one more small poll for you for the session feedback. Okay, so I've launched this poll and I would like all of you to participate in the poll and just answer the questions quickly. And in the meantime, you can also ask questions or anything that you want to talk about in Power BI.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, actually, recently I had subscribed for a Microsoft 365,
Okay.
and there I could find a button get data, and it took me to some Power Query because, but I was not. The screen was similar what you have shown just
Okay.
now.
Uh-huh.
So, but was it connecting to Power BI so that I'm not clear? Is it using directly Power BI or Power Query? What it was?
Okay. Now let me answer your question. Okay. And let me just take one moment to first let us complete that poll and then I will answer your question. I'll show you basically what happens is when if you are using 365, those who are using 365, you will be able to see a section called as get data from your data tab. And the get data basically what it does, it collects the data. It helps you in connecting the data into your Excel from various sources. You can also connect data from web, okay, in Excel, or you can improvise on that data. But it is not Power BI, it is Power Query. So you can consolidate two files using Power Query. You can merge them, you can append them, and all these things you can do in Power Query. That we are going to see when we are going to proceed further, what all we can do. But yes, that is what why how we can use Power Query. But Power BI is mostly into visualization. But many people don't understand this thing that to visualize anything, to create a chart, to create a dashboard, our data should be perfect. Our data should be clean. If the data is not clean, if it is not perfect, it is not having all those columns which are required for analysis, can we do the analysis properly? Can we do the visualization properly? Can we create a good dashboard without having a proper data the way it should be there? What do you think? Yes or no? Can we do it? No. So, a major part of learning Power BI is learning data analysis, how it works, how to clean the data, how to club the data, how to create columns which can help us in doing that. So all this is covered in Power Query. Okay. So I hope your question, I am able to answer your question. Okay. So any other question? And I can see people doing the poll. So once everyone is done, I'll just close it. And I hope you enjoyed today's session and you enjoyed learning about what can Power BI do. Although it was a 1 hour, 30 minutes I have taken almost. Today was the intro class. But yes, those who have registered for the course, you can look forward for more action in time. Those who have just come to have a feel of what it is and how I teach and what you are going to learn. Okay. So I am just going to share with you the curriculum that we are going to cover in this particular training. And then you can take a call. And if you want to register, you can ping me and I will help you with the registration process. Okay. And it is going to be a good course for you if you want to actually get into data analytics, or if you're already working and you want to explore more on this, you should definitely learn Power BI. It is going to be very much important and useful for you all. Okay. So we are going to cover a lot of things. I'm just going to share my screen, and on that screen, you will be able to see what all we are going to cover. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible to all and you can see this list. So it is going to be a 20 days batch. We have started today on 8th. So it is going to be a Monday to Friday. I might take some classes on Saturday, Sunday as well. If I'm not missing any classes on the weekday, because of my training schedule, I keep on traveling. So in case if I'm not available on one day, maybe will compensate that day with a Saturday, Sunday, but that will be pre-informed. So we are going to learn about Power BI desktop. Today we did the day one. Tomorrow we are going to learn how to import data from Excel, different databases. Then we'll do Power Query. We will create different charts and all. We look into dashboards, DAX, custom visuals, Power BI service also. If you want to embed it into website, how it will happen. A lot of advanced things is going to be there. Okay. And a lot of practical use cases we are going to see, and a lot of applications based visuals or dashboards we are going to create, whether it is a sales report or a finance report or all. So that all is going to be covered in this particular training session. Okay. So with this quote, now I am ending up the poll. Okay. And let me see how people have uh, answered it. So I'm sharing the result with everyone. So 96% almost people said that it was excellent. Yes, always there is a scope for improvement, and I look for that. So there is one person who says there is a scope for improvement. If you can put it in the chat, what is exactly where we would like to work on, I would be definitely looking for it. And did the session meet your expectation? 92% people say yes. Thank you for that. Do you feel more comfortable? Yes, 75 people say yes. 23, you need to practice more, and then you'll be able to do it. And there is a 50-50 answer when it most valuable part of the session. Some people find dashboard better, some people find Power Query better. It is a first session. And are you interested in learning more? So yes, 96% people say yes. Only 1% maybe uh, not wanting to learn more. Yes. So with this, thank you everyone for taking out time and coming for this training, and lot of things in the coming days. And I'm putting my number in the chat in case if this motivates you to go ahead with the session and learn more. Do that and ping me. I will help you. If you have any query which you want me to take in person, you can reach out to me. And this video is going to be uploaded on the YouTube, and I will share the link in the various groups through which you have come. You can revisit it and start practicing. Just download Power BI, import your own data, work with it, and whenever you feel like you want to ask anything, just reach out to me and I'll be there to help you. If you want to learn in a systematic manner, this is a live training that I'm doing every day. Recordings will be also available, and a very affordable cost price I have kept, that is 5,000, which is nothing for this course. Let me tell you that I also did a Power BI course before launching this to learn things better, and I had paid 16,000 bucks to Adureka, ad tech company, and the same content I'm going to deliver in this course at one third of the cost. Okay, so I hope I'm leaving you with a thought to think about and not take much of your time now. And good evening to everyone, and hope to see you again tomorrow in the session. Those who have already registered, you are going to be there at 9 o'clock. Those who want to register, you can reach out to me, and thank you everyone for joining in.